Hello and welcome to another edition of Debatable here on godisgeek.com. My name's Colm, and this week we're going on a nature walk of sorts.
Real life is shit. As we get older, we worry about bills, the weekly shop, getting the kids ready for school, getting ourselves ready for work, going to work, being at work, going back into work after lunch. Real life is shit. What happened to the days when you and the lads would go for a few pints of a Saturday night and end up in a different part of the country? What happened to those nights where yourself and the girls decided to sneak a hip flask into the cinema and swoon over Leonardo DiCaprio? Do you remember when you headed for Raccoon City and popped caps in the asses of all those undead? Yeah, those were the days, weren't they? Yeah, real life is shit. People think of video games as fantastical places where you can escape your own banal existence. For example, killing zombies in Raccoon City. Did you remember to Series Link Emmerdale? Who cares? I'm going to the Sky City of Columbia and putting an end to Comstock's tyranny. Well, not anymore. You have to be up early in the morning and go working on that virtual farm of yours. The simulator isn't a new concept. We've had city sims and life sims for years, but those series kind of live in their own little bubble. They're a tad bit different to the games with simulator in the actual title. Excalibur Publishing is the king of simulator games. Their origins begin in 2004, but it wasn't until 2011 that they received their first real attention because of a gem called Street Cleaning Simulator. Receiving a 1.5 from GameSpot, the website's community embraced the game and loved it for what it was. In a 100% sardonic tone, of course. Excalibur continued to publish similar efforts like Road Construction Simulator, Police Simulator and Garden Simulator for years after. But it wasn't until two Irish comedians waxed lyrical on a British panel show about their favourite sim that the genre was thrust into the limelight. And Excalibur wasn't even behind this one. On the 19th of September 2013, BBC aired an episode of popular comedy panel show Mock the Week, in which panellist Ed Byrne and host Darragh O'Brien spoke about Focus Home Interactive published Farming Simulator 2013, in the same week that Grand Theft Auto 5 was released. Byrne spoke ad infinitum about how he enjoyed playing with his plough, and the game became a running gag for the night. The following day it was sold out on Amazon, and many customers purchased Rockstar's Final Hurrah and Last Gen systems at the same time they picked up Farming fucking Simulator 2013. Look, even po-faced Andy Murray got in the act. And you know what? It's terrible. So terrible, in fact, it spawned For Your Amusement, our video series in which I play video games that are not up to snuff. Yet people jumped on the bandwagon because they couldn't miss out on the titters and tee-hees. Farming Simulator was released on PC a year previously to no fanfare. The console release was 2 weeks prior to Byrne's seal of approval, again, no fanfare. Yet this endorsement on that night meant simulator games were cool. While Excalibur wasn't behind the hit title that had the video game playing public asking each other questions like dairy or tillage, it did ride the wave. Euro Truck Simulator, Train Simulator, European Ship Simulator. The market was booming and Excalibur took full advantage. Not to be outdone, UIG Entertainment got in the act with such classics as Woodcutter Simulator 2013 and Warehouse and Logistics Simulator. The thing is, like Farming Simulator, they were terrible. However, the idea of doing menial jobs in a video game had people chuckling heartily in the aisles and reaching for their wallets. After this, some buzz regenerated surrounding Boss's Studio Surgeon Simulator 2013, which was released 5 months prior to Mock the Week. Goat Simulator from Coffee Stain Studios earlier this year allowed people to live out their fantasies as a goat. And then there's Bear Simulator, a successful Kickstarter in which, yes, you play as a bear in the world's first FPV. The simulator games had spawned a host of piss takes, but where do we go from here? To the ground, that's where. Currently on Steam Greenlight and Indiegogo, Strange Panther Games is taking this to the next level. Rock Simulator. Yes! You're not Bono, you play as a stone. Their trailer, which I'm guessing was highly expensive to produce, is set to the wonderful mix of Thomas the Tank Engine and Biggie Smalls, which sets up the madness. I mean, seriously, Oculus Rift support is mentioned as a feature. Initially, I didn't know what to think about the whole thing, but then I realised I was being a dry prick. Only very recently I played Goat Simulator for the first time. I wanted to pick it up for quite a while just to see what the fuss was about, and after playing it, that's when I saw the error of my ways. It's just a laugh. Trotting around as a demon goat and summoning minions or blowing up a petrol station, again as a goat, is one of my favourite times with video games this year. Until the game's release date, April 1st I might add, people weren't sure if it was a real thing or not. It was just unfathomable for many people. The wonderful thing about Goat Simulator is that rather than try and mould a comedic experience for the player, the developer gives you all the tools and allows for your imagination to run wild. In the description for Bear Simulator's Kickstarter, developer Farj Studios insinuates that while GTA 5, The Last of Us and Bioshock Infinite are universally regarded as excellent, they're not inclusive because you can't play as a bear. Brilliant! Now we have Rock Simulator. The skeptics see this as too far, a capitalisation on the capitalisation of the simulator. You can live out your dreams of being a rock for literally no money at all. We commentate on an industry that's so young and still finding its feet. There are multiple discussions on NeoGAF, Reddit and elsewhere about important issues and serious issues in video games, but sometimes we just have to fucking laugh. The parody of the simulator bubble may burst very soon, but until then I'm willing to give these efforts a go and embrace the mentalness that the developer has put before me. Real life is shit, so rather than plough the field, why not ride a bicycle as a goat? You might even smile.
I've seen some people talk about Goat Simulator and say that they only got about 2 hours of entertainment out of it. That's all they got, and then they just pushed it to one side. Well, I cast your mind back a couple of years to Journey. Journey, personally speaking, of course, is one of my favourite games of all time. It's sublime in a completely different way to Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator is obviously a lot more humorous than Journey, but Journey takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And I think if you get an hour and a half, 2 hours of entertainment out of Goat Simulator and you cut your losses at that point, what's wrong with that? It's that those 2 hours will be absolutely phenomenal, I assure you. And I mean, you look at the footage I captured, it's glitchy as fuck, and that only adds to the humour. Even if you look at the patch notes of the last patch for Goat Simulator, I dare you, sir or madam, to look at those patch notes and not just have a bit of a crack of a smile, because they're brilliant. They're absolutely fantastic. But look, maybe you disagree with everything I said, and if you do, I want to hear from you. I want you to say, Colm Ahern, you are full of shit, sir. You are full of shit. So please let me know. You can tweet me. You can let us know in the comment section of the YouTube video, the comment section of the article on godisgeek.com, because everything I said on this show and past shows and future shows, well, look, it's just my opinion and my opinion alone, as I just said. And as always, it's debatable. And as promised, we have a new section of Debatable, where every week, like I have been saying that I do want to hear from you, and I have been reading your comments and whatnot, but I think it's time we highlight your comments. And last week we spoke about Watch Dogs and how it was broken on PC, and this week we have a comment from Jared Christie on the subject. He said he came into the loading bug like I did, and he, even after kind of overcoming that, he is still suffering a lot of performance issues, and he even goes on to say that in the future he's going to question whether or not he buys Ubisoft products on PC, and he even name drops Assassin's Creed Unity. He's going to wait for reviews and wait to see what the general public are saying about it on the personal computer. And Jared, that's a sound strategy, I do have to say, because even after the patch came to PC, after last week's show, I have been able to play Watch Dogs a little bit. Maybe, I think the longest is about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at in one sitting, and then the game just crashes again. Whether it's in a big car chase, where the frame rate drops to something pretty unmanageable, excuse me, or where, say, I'm just hacking someone, the game just crashes again. It seems to be at random intervals, which is pretty shitty. So thanks very much for that, Ubisoft. Also, one note before I go. Aiden Pierce, terrible character! Awful character! His hat, not iconic. This hat, not iconic. We have something in common. He talks like Batman for some reason. I'm not too sure why. But just the general, what I kind of have been able to get to play, it seems like quite fun. But I'm getting to a bit of a tipping point at this stage where I might just have to move on. So please do comment, and maybe you'll be in the video next week, and we can have a discussion, sort of, even though you'll be a weird discussion because you'll be after commenting and I'll be commenting in the video and stuff. So yeah. Good luck!